Hi guys, I'm Scribe from Scribe Gaming, and today I'm going to show you my favorite XP or rune farm in Elden Ring that can be literally done at any level in the game. There's no real combat involved in this, all you need is a bow and some arrows. The very first thing that you have to do is beat Godric the Grafted. Now go back to Lingrave and go to the first step, Side of Grace. Speaking to white-faced Varre here will start a short questline that you have to do that will give us access to an endgame zone that gives us so much XP or rune farming. Once you've spoken to white-faced Varre, simply head to the Round Table Hold. We're looking to speak to Enya here, so head to the room with the two fingers and have a quick word with her. It might seem difficult to have a conversation with a hand with only two fingers, but go ahead and talk to it anyway. And then head back to Enya for one last conversation. Make sure you talk to her about great runes before leaving. After the conversation with Enya, head back to the first step, Grace Point, and you'll notice that White Varre has actually moved. In order to find him, guys, we've got to travel back to Godric the Grafted Site of Grace. Now, I'm doing this from this point, guys, so anybody that has only just beaten Godric the Grafted knows exactly where to go. First and foremost, we want to try to get to the rune lakes, so head through the castle at the top. Make your way through the castle, there's not too many places for you to actually get lost here. Once out of the castle in Stormvale, you'll be at the lake-facing cliff Side of Grace. To help us out at this point, I think it's best for us to go ahead and grab the map for the Lunar Lakes. Make your way down the hill, calling torrents just to make things a little bit quicker. And before we go any further, I think it's quite handy, just to the right of this little church here, guys, you will see some graveyards. Now, go to the back of it and you'll find a small scroll here. Now, this can be given to the witch Selen. She'll be able to provide you with some additional spells to buy, which is very useful if you're a spellcaster type. Keep heading north. Just ignore all the enemies on the way. There's no need to fight anything at this point. Following the road past the small encampment, you'll find another Side of Grace just by the side of the lakes. Heading directly north from this Side of Grace, we're looking to pick up the map for the lake's east section. So just come through here and make sure you stay nimble on your horses because there are some jumping enemies. Grab it from this stone epitaph. From the map point, we want to head in a northwesterly direction. Here's yet another Side of Grace to quickly touch on. And we want to continue our journey to the northwest. Simply ignore all the enemies on the way, there's no reason to fight them unless you really want to. There's another Side of Grace at the Boil Prawn Shack. You may as well register it while you're here. Once again, summon your noble steed and head, you guessed it, in a northwesterly direction. This church up ahead is the location that we're looking for. It's known as the Rose Church, and when we pull up here, there's no Side of Grace, but what there is white-faced Varre. Go ahead and talk to him a number of times. He'll ask you about the two fingers and say that they seemed a little odd. He expresses an interest that the two fingers can't be trusted and wants to do something about it, and he desperately needs your help in order to make that happen. So, talk to him another time and he'll give you 5 festering bloody fingers. At this point, in order to continue on his questline, we need to try and invade 3 people. Now, you don't have to be successful, guys. You just have to do it. In order to start invading people, you need to go to your inventory and use your festering bloody fingers. Now this will basically set you into a PvP matchmaking system which will match you based on your soul level against another player that has got a conspirator. You have to do this a total of 3 times. If like me you haven't exactly gotten good, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, just get the 3 invasions done. With that out of the way, head back to white-faced Varre at the Church of the Rose for another conversation. He asks you to join his cause in taking down the 2 fingers. Go ahead and say you will accept. He gives you the Lord of Blood's favour. Now in order to get to the next part of the quest, we need to bathe this in the blood of a maiden. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a trek. We need to be heading northeast all the way up here to this particular church. From our current location, I advise you head over to the Academy Gate Town site of Grace. From here we'll be able to plot our path up there. Look directly to the northeast and you'll see a little opening that leads up into the cliffside. Once through, we want to start heading north. You know the golden rule at this point. If you see an enemy, just ignore it. Just off the beaten path, you'll reach the site of Grace Eastern Tableland. Keep heading north at this point and head slightly to the left through the Erd Palace ruins. Now there's going to be some archers here and they are incredibly accurate and annoying. Do your best to avoid them, don't attack them. Cross this statue bridge and you'll find a site of Grace. If you quickly rest here, you'll completely reset all of the aggro. From the old palace ruins, we're going to head north and you'll come across a location that's got 2 walking mausoleums. Now we just want to ignore these and head up around the cliff. Pick up the additional site of Grace Point for the mausoleum compound. From this point, we're going to look to head west. Now, you should see a pack of 3 wolves that are running down the hill here. That means you're on the right path. You can see the Academy of Rare Lucaria in the distance, and it's looking rather beautiful. But we're going to take the rather precarious steps to jump down the side of this cliff face and get a new site of Grace, meaning that we can skip the entirety of the Rare Lucaria Academy. If you're having some trouble finding these particular gravestones that get you down the cliff, here's the location on the map. Gently does it as you go down, guys. You don't want to die. Once you're safely down, head west and you'll find yet another site of Grace. From this side of Grace, we're going to be heading northeast. Now, it's important that you hug the wall on the eastern side. There are a couple of enemies and some overgrown rats that you need to worry about. But most importantly, we really do have to worry about this tower that casts a madness spell on you the whole bleeding time. Sprint past it as fast as you can and get inside the Phraseed Flame Village. We want to work our way through just to the side of this house and jump up the side of the cliff. Keep on going around, be careful of that madness because that tower can still hurt you from here. Follow the road round to the north and hide to one side. Just here we can see the Church of Inhibition is just to our north right now. Continue along this path and you should see a small spirit. The Church of Inhibition is just in the distance up ahead. Now that it's magically nighttime and raining, we're going to continue and run to that church. If you approach on Torrent, you'll notice that you won't actually be able to use him. That's because we're about to be invaded. Now this invader is actually pretty difficult, but the benefit is we can just ignore him, run straight past him into the church and use the maiden that has sat down. This will actually bless the Lord's favour with her blood and gives us another site of Grace. Even if we die, it's really not a problem. Just be sure that you get the Lord of Blood's favour. So in case you missed it there, it's just this site of grace and this maiden that's sat down in the chair. If you check your inventory and your key items, you should have the Lord of Blood's favour now in your inventory. From here, we've got to go back to the Rose Church and speak to White-Faced Varre one last time. White-Faced Varre very politely breaks your finger for you, which I always thought was a rather odd way to repay all the favours you've been doing for him. And finally keep talking to him and he'll give you the Pureblood Knight's medal. By using this medal, we can actually transport ourselves to Moghwyn's palace. From Moghwyn's palace, we want to immediately turn around and jump on torrents. Now, you want to run past everything here, guys, and try not to be shaken by the giant spectral skeletons that want to turn your innards into mush. Just sprint away as fast as you can and head in a southeasterly direction. We're looking for a slight ramp that's leading us up to the cliffside. This upward path is exactly what we're looking for. Ignore the enemies, and right at the top we have one final site of grace. It's called the Palace Approach Ledge Road, and from this point we're going to snipe at a rather large bird that's on the ledge below, and in its panic and fear of our awesome nature, it's going to jump right off a cliff and kill itself. Here is the location on the map for you one last time. If you do not have a ranged weapon available to you, I advise you go ahead and grab this short bow from right at the start of the game. Buy as many arrows as you possibly can as well. Once back at our farming location in Moghwyn Palace, make sure you equip the bow. Now, you're going to want to equip the bow in both hands. This way, we're actually able to use aiming down the sights or precision shooting. Now, the position of where you shoot from is very important. Stand on the corner of the ledge exactly where I am. All you have to do then is simply aim at the bird, wait for it to walk between these two branches, and shoot an arrow. You can see it's the first time I've shot a bow, and he jumps right off the cliff. And we gain ourselves a rather tasty 11,000 souls. Quickly run back to the site of grace, rest, get out of the menu as quickly as possible, and return to the exact same spot. Aim down the sights, wait for the bird, and shoot. Note guys, sometimes the bird either gets missed by the shot or stops right before falling off the cliff. If this happens guys, don't try and shoot it again, just go back to the rest point, rest, and start the farm all over again. The beauty of this farming method is that there is zero danger involved once you've reached this spot, and the only thing that is restricting you from gaining more runes is simply the amount of arrows you've got in your inventory. You can repeat this endlessly with no risk of dying, and you can rack up hundreds of thousands of runes incredibly quickly. It only took a matter of minutes for us to rack up 100,000 runes and jump our character level quite drastically. And there you have it. My location, which I use to farm runes incredibly quickly with zero risk to my character. This can be done very, very early on, as soon as you beat Godric the Grafted, and it probably only takes an extra hour or two to actually get done. You saw that the character I was using was very low level and went straight up to level 50 with just a few minutes of farming at this method. You can come back here at any point and just plink away at the poor bird and really show him what extinction feels like. If this video was useful to you, please do like and consider subscribing to your boy Scribe because I need your love and validation, and I'd like to put out some more content. Let me know in the comments down below how you farm your runes, and I'll see you all in the next video.